Welcome back, everybody. Driver53 here, and today I've got another video looking at production chains. And just a disclaimer right off the bat, these are not the production chains from FS22. These are the Placeable Factories Pack that is available from erShaba. And these are all available on the Mod Hub. I'm playing on PlayStation 4 right now. Console players, everybody has access to these. PC players, you guys have these also. So, the reason I'm making these videos is so we can kind of get a jump start, right? We can kind of understand how these are going to work. I know there was a lot of issues originally with this production pack, the mods, and all of these different ones. There's like 4 different mods out there that we're going to be able to use. I'm going to go through every one of them, take a look at them, and show you guys how profitable they are and how they function, all right? So once again, these are not the production chains that Giants announced for FS22, but these function very, very similar to them. And what I mean by that is we have lumber here today. And what I did is I took wood chips. You put in here and it creates this. You add fuel also. And the fuel is your biodiesel that I just made another video on. So I'm going to link that one up here in the top. Go ahead and take a look at it. And this is the next step. So it's a chain. This is step number 2. And this is the middle step. There's going to be another step after this also that is barrels. So it's 3 different factories that you have to use to be able to produce the final product. So to me, that's a chain. That's a link of 3 items. That is a chain. All right. So I don't want to try and mislead anybody here by claiming that these are the ones from FS22. I don't want anybody, thinking that I'm trying to do clickbait, anything like that. But these are production chains. 3 items linked together to produce 1 item. So, lumber. How do we make it? Well, you're going to come over here, and I'm going to go through this just so everybody knows. If this is your first video watching, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. So you're going to come over here, and you're going to be able to select this just like an animal. So if I click on 1 and then 2, right, this is going to give me 2 different levels of production. We know from the biodiesel that they do produce at different rates. They take different amounts depending on what production level you're at, and they both have their own profitability per day. All right. Overall profitability is going to be the same, but per day it is different depending on how fast you want your product to come out. So what you're going to do now is you're just going to hit square and confirm. I've already done this, and we produced 60,000 liters of wood here. So it compressed everything together, and now we have these nice pieces of wood. So what does it take? Well, over here on this side, you can see that we're going to tip in wood chips right here. All right. And how much is it going to take? What's the maximum capacity? Well, for production level 1 on your wood chips, it's going to take 140,000 liters max. Now, you don't have to use that much to produce 60,000, okay? But that's the most that will fit in this area right here is 140,000 liters. If you're using production level 2, it's going to be 280,000 liters of wood chips that you're going to be able to put into this to have as your stockpile. Okay, so if you're cutting down a bunch of trees, come over here, go ahead and knock it out. Now, another really interesting thing that I did is I went ahead and cut down some trees to find out exactly how much each tree gives you. So what I did is I went ahead and came over here and cut down some trees, all right? And you can see we have 2 different styles of trees. One is a really nice, mature, regular tree, and then we have a nice, mature, I call it a pine tree. Okay, so I cut down 1 of each, and I measured how much wood was going in here. Now, the way I did it, I used the Ponzi Scorpion King right here, and I cut these into 1 meter sections because it was easier to fit into this as a 1 meter section instead of up to 8 meters. All right, so you probably will get a little bit more than I'm getting here if you use 8-meter logs or you have a different chipper or something like that, right? So just general basic idea on a regular tree, one of these right here, I got about 15,800 liters. Okay, so give or take a little bit, that's roughly about how much you're going to get out of that. On the pine tree, I got 14,900 liters. So, I mean, it's going to vary a little bit, but that's roughly around that area, about 15,000. We can say maybe 15 and a half on average, depending on the tree and the size. Your littler trees that are like right here next to it, you're obviously not going to get as much off those as you are that. So just keep that in mind. Roughly, that's about how much. All right, so that's your wood chips. What's next? What else do you need? Well, you're going to need some fuel. Now, you can use regular fuel, right? But we all know that's going to be expensive, right? And we just made biodiesel. Well, you can use biodiesel also, right? And by using biodiesel, you save on the cost, because we know that if you're using production 1 on biodiesel, all right, you're going to be able to turn about 15,500 liters. Well, not about. You're going to be able to turn 15,500 liters of diesel into 60,000 liters of biodiesel. So the initial cost that you had of about $19,000 is now going to drop down to about $5,300 in that range. And we'll look at the details here in a little bit. So it's going to be drastically reduced, right, based on how much biodiesel you use as your mixture. All right. So biodiesel, this is chain link number 2 here in the biodiesel process, right? And to make barrels, this is chain link number 2. So you're going to be able to use an existing product that you used from your factory here in this new factory. And how does it load up? Well, it's going to go right here. And as soon as you pull up next to it, it's automatically going to start unloading. I've got these trailers right here, you can see, and I will show you exactly how this is going to work. So we're going to pull up right next to it. You can see I've got 20,000 liters of biodiesel in here right now. And if I pull over this way, right here, all right, you can see that it's automatically unloading. You can see that it went down to 19,959. And the reason it's not going more is because I don't have it turned on. But that's how it's going to work. So just pull up. As long as you've got it turned on, it's going to start dumping in there. So really, really awesome there. So once again, this is 60,000 liters of product. And you may be wondering, well, how long did it take me to produce 60,000 liters of boards here in this? So I'm going to go and share some slides with you. And this is all of the data similar to what we showed in the biodiesel video. So here we go. All right, so as you can see, I have both production listed here on this spreadsheet. Production 1 is on top, production 2 is down below. All right, so production 1 is going to take 6.7 days to be able to produce a full load of 60,000 liters. Production 2 is only going to take you 5.1 days. So it's a lot quicker, but is it going to use as much, or is it going to use more product to be able to get you there? And the answer is yes. You can see right here that on biodiesel used, on production level 1, we only use 16,719 liters of biodiesel. All right. And for production 2, we use 21,876. So you ended up using about 5,000 liters more for production 2 to be able to get it faster, right? The machines have to crank faster, so it requires more fuel. I'm assuming that's how the mod works, right? So that's not per day. That is total volume over the total amount of time. If you look at diesel used per day, and this is biodiesel, once again, it's going to be almost 2,500 liters per day on production 1, and it's going to be 4,300, and it's going to be almost 4,300 liters per day on production level 2. So if you have biodiesel plant and you've got multiple factories going on around, and you know that, hey, I can only allot X amount for this factory, well, maybe you leave this factory on level 1 for a while until you up your production of your biodiesel, right? You can also supplement. You don't have to use all strictly biodiesel. You can use some regular diesel also, but know that it's going to cost you almost 4 times as much because you're not using your canola and everything like that. You're having to put it in straight. So whatever your strategy is there, that's how much it actually uses, whether it's biodiesel or regular diesel. Next, total wood chips used. So on production level 1, we use 93,625 liters to produce 60,000 liters of boards. So it really, really compacts that down and reduces that number. And on production level 2, it's 128,042 liters. So a much, much bigger input to be able to get them out faster. All right. So wood chip use per day, it's going to be about 14,000 liters for production 1 and about 25,000 liters for production 2. So keep that in mind. If you're cutting down trees every day, that's about how much you need to be able to put in here and keep the plant running, keep the factory running. Okay. Now, as we can see, the average board sell price, okay, is about $1,531. Now I was looking at all of the sale points at the time that I looked at the data. There was 4 or 5 different places I looked at them all, averaged them all together. With that many, I didn't feel like we needed to go look at multiple days and everything like that. So that's at that point right there. If you can find a better price, absolutely go for it, and you're going to make even more money. But unfortunately, if you can't find that price, you're going to make a little bit less. So let's just use this as a general rule right here. Now, the total board value, okay, is going to be $91,860. Now that's using the total production that we created of 60,000 liters multiplying by $1,531. All right, so that's going to give us 91,860. So how do we figure out our profit, right? Because that's not all our profit, that's total sale, right? You have to take out your costs. Well, if your wood is coming for free from your trees that you're cutting down, right, the only cost that you have is your diesel. And we already know that your diesel cost per liter, if you're using production 1 on biodiesel, all right, it's going to be 32 cents per liter. Okay, so on the biodiesel used for production level 1, we know that we only used 16,719 liters. Well, that cost is actually $5,350. All right, so to produce 60,000 liters of wood on production level 1, it's only going to cost you $5,350. So that's going to give you, all right, a profit of $86,510. That's awesome. And if you're using production level 2, the fuel cost of 21,876 liters is going to be $7,000, like exactly as you can see right here. So your profit is going to be $84,860. Now it is a little bit less, but the really interesting thing is you look at this next column here, this is your profit per day, okay? Because we know that it takes 6.7 days to create 60,000 liters on production 1, you're only going to make $12,912 profit per day on this factory. But if you've got production 2, since it's faster, it's going to be 16,639. So yes, you're using more product, but your profit is a lot quicker per day. All right, you're going to make $4,000, roughly $4,000 more per day by doing production 2. Even though you're using more product, you're able to get more profit out of it. Okay, so that is all the data. One other thing I also wanted to talk about is the max capacity of your biodiesel. At production level 1, it's 25,000, and at production level 2, it's 50,000. What can we do with this now? Well, let's come over here. I've got one of these Autoloads. Again, it's a really, really nice mod that erShaba and the team at VSR has created. We use this to haul our biodiesel. Well, they got another version here for boards. All right, so what are we going to be able to do with it? If we come over here, we're going to fire it up, and you're going to be able to pull right up alongside it again. Now, the really, really awesome thing about this, I'm really excited about this. Watch the animations. Your boards actually show up on it now. So you're going to be able to tell if you have anything on your trailer or not without even having to look at it, right? And they disappear when they're supposed to. So it's working really, really well. So we're going to go ahead and put a full 20,000 liters on this trailer. All right, we've got 20,000 liters. And what I want to show you, the first logical thing that you're going to want to do with this is use it to make barrels, right? The next link in the chain. So what we're going to do is right here is that spot on the barrels factory. And it's here in the corner. You can see the other crates that are sitting back there. And if you look, and if I back up here, right? And then I'm going to go around and turn this thing on. Okay? And let's watch and see what happens. So here we go. I'm just going to do production level 1 really, really quick. I'm going to confirm. And here we go. If you listen, it's already going, and you can see the animation's already taking effect. So there we go. It's already unloading, right? So we're going to get out of here, and I'm going to show you something else that you can do with it. We've got a nice all-in-one silo right here, okay? So all I need to do is just pull directly over top of this, and it's going to go ahead and start unloading into my silo. That way, if you have a stockpile, and you're like, well, I don't have enough room to make all of these factories, because right now we're only recommended to use 6 factories. Okay, so if you've got a couple biodiesels down, you've got something else going on, you may need to get rid of a factory to be able to produce another step, right? So where do you store all your stuff? You're going to store it over there in the silos. Now, I have no idea if any of the other silos work or not. I know that that one does, and that one I wanted to use because it does hold everything, like it says, all in one, and it's got a very, very high capacity of 800,000 liters. So that's why I'm using that one. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to go to a sale point that accepts this. So here on Ravensberg, it's going to be down here in the harbor. All right, and it's going to be just here on the left hand side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here, turn around, and come back, and when I go over the sell point, watch what happens. Okay, it's going to be just like your silo at the farm, and there we go. Your animation, as you can see it, it's going to be going down. You can see the volume down there is going down also. So that is everything that you're going to be able to do with these. That's going to be, you can store it, you can sell it, or you can take it right next to the next link in the chain over to your barrel factory. So hopefully I gave you guys all the information that you need to be able to use these production factories in a production chain. So hopefully I delivered on that for you. You know, I'm going to start using these a lot more on this map. This is the Ravensberg map, is where we're at right now. It's by Top Ace 888. It's going to be linked down below also. As you can see, we got a bunch of other stuff, other tests. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos on these over the next couple weeks, hopefully to be able to get all of these done in time. Like I said, within that couple weeks. So yeah, that's going to be it, everybody. I don't think there's really anything else here to go over. I've showed you how they work. I showed you what you need, how much you need. I showed you what you're going to be able to do with it next, sending it over to the barrel factory, the third link in the chain. And I showed you what else you can do with them. Store them, or you can sell it. We went over total profitability of your entire per day and total over the full production of 600,000 or 60,000 liters of product. Yeah. So we're going to take these values here and we're going to apply those over to the barrel factory, right? We know how much these cost us to be able to make, because if the wood's free and the fuel is only 32 cents, right, then we know that it only took me 16,000, almost 17,000 liters of biodiesel to produce 60,000 liters of wood. So now when I go over there, it's going to be about a quarter again, right? So over at my barrel factory, my input, okay, so this is where it gets really, really cool, okay, that if you look at 16,700, right, and 60,000, it's almost a quarter, right? So if you take 32 cents and you divide that by 4, that's going to be about 7-8 cents, somewhere in that range, per liter of fuel is all it's going to take. Now, you're going to need to add more fuel over there at that facility also. So it's going to cost you another 32 cents, but now you're only looking at 40 cents input, right? Because you did have cost coming out of these. So that's where it gets a little bit complicated. We're going to go over that in the next video that's going to look at barrels, but it should be right around 40 cents, maybe 41 cents input cost. And then, I mean, barrels. So if you look at the cost of barrel, or the price of barrels, how much you make off of them, like this one right here says $32.29. I mean, that's an awesome price. So you go from a 32 cent input, right, to a 40 cent input, but you're going to be able to double your profit on that. Oh man, these things turn from a $12,000, $13,000 up to a $25,000 to $26,000 profit, right? That's really, really cool. But like I said, we're going to look at all that data again over there once we know all the specifics of it and the exact details. So if you want to stay up to date on all my production chain videos here using the Placeable Factories by erShaba, think about hitting that subscribe button. And if you do, hit the notification bell too. Have a great day, night, evening, everybody. Until next time, this is Driver 53. Signing off.